Ellie has been feeling a splitting headache lately, acutely aware that her husband of 10 years, Tom, no longer loves her and is coming home later and later. She cooks and stubbornly waits for him to return, unaware that the food has been back in the pot several times to heat up and Tom is still nowhere to be found. One night, she saw the cold dining table, anger and despair welled up in her heart, and slowly stood up from the bench. Step by step, she walked towards the bathroom. Pop! The bright light stung her eyes. Large teardrops rolled down from her red, swollen eyes. In the mirror, she saw her red eyes with tiny wrinkles creeping around the corners. Ellie touched her face, then wiped her tears with a towel and smiled wryly. She opened the bathroom drawer filled with expensive makeup. She was determined to be kind to herself, to be happy and no longer dependent on others for her pleasure. Let Tom and his lover fend for themselves. She was going to make them pay. Ellie was capable and smart and kept the house in good order. Early in their marriage, Tom had vowed, "Honey, I'll work hard outside to earn money, and you'll take care of me at home and come home to a hot meal cooked by you every day." She quit her civil service job for this reason and concentrated on being a housewife. However, 2 years after her marriage, Ellie found out that she was suffering from infertility, and the news was like a bolt from the blue. That night, she tearfully handed Tom a copy of the divorce papers, and Tom angrily tore up the paper, swearing, "I don't need a child. I won't lose you, and we'll love each other for the rest of our lives, and we'll never be apart." At that moment, they hugged each other, tears streaming down their faces, believing that they could face all storms. Still, a family without children left Ellie feeling incomplete. She went through multiple tests, medications, and surgeries without being able to conceive. Her body also expanded due to the use of drugs, rapidly rising from 90 kilograms to 180 kilograms, completely losing her former beauty and charm. Tom gradually lost interest in her and was reluctant to go home after work every day. He began to frequent nightclubs, hanging out with sultry women, and eventually met Ami, a sexy young girl. In Ami's tenderness and passion, Tom is completely addicted, completely forgetting about Ellie as his wife. One evening, Tom returned home, the door opened with a creak, the obese Ellie wearing a pink dress in the flower arrangement. The skirt by her fat flesh is ready to collapse. "I'm home." Tom barely managed a greeting. The company's been busy lately, working overtime every day. "How are you doing at home?" "Tough." Ellie looked back at him, her face so pale and heavily made up that Tom couldn't help but feel horrible. She said, "Hungry? I'll make you something to eat." "Okay, I'm going to take a shower." With that said, Tom quickly walked away. At dinner, the table was filled with Tom's favorite dishes. Hungry, he feasted on them, and Ellie smiled at him from the sidelines. "Why aren't you eating?" Tom asked. "I ate a little too much today, and I'm not hungry yet," she replied. Tom took it at face value and proceeded to eat the entire meal. After eating, Tom fell back to sleep from the effects of the sleeping pills. After making sure Tom was asleep, Ellie took 2 small pill bottles out of his briefcase and replaced his high blood pressure medication with identical but ineffective pills. She knew Tom's life would be in danger sooner or later if he didn't take his pills on time. This was the punishment she had planned for his betrayal. The next morning, Tom went to work as usual, unaware. A month later, on a weekend night, Tom came to the nightclub alone and again pushed his way into May's room to see her making out with another tall man. Tom angrily rushes over to her, but is brutally beaten. He is no match for his younger, stronger opponent and is beaten up, leaving in a state of disarray amidst cheers. Tom returns home bruised and battered. The house is quiet. Ellie is not there, probably gone to the supermarket. He overhears the table littered with photos of various men with whom Ellie is intimate. The mobile phone rang, and the boss's urgent voice came. Tom, there are ambiguous photos of you and those women all over the internet, and now the province is coming to investigate. You have to solve it as soon as possible. He hung up the phone, and Tom collapsed onto the sofa in despair, passing out. Half an hour later, Ellie returned home and found that Tom was not breathing. Unperturbed, she switched her high blood pressure medication back to the original tablets and then dialed the emergency number. Hello, is this 119? My husband has collapsed in the house. Afterwards, in a cafe, Ellie sat face to face with Ami. She took a credit card out of her bag and handed it to Ami. You did a great job. Here's your reward. There's $500,000 here. Take the money and get out of here. Ami smiled brightly, took the money and left. Living alone, Ellie always felt gloomy at home. One night, she was sleeping when the lights suddenly went out, and in a trance, she saw a pale face floating by the windowsill, scared out of her wits. She hurriedly tried to close the window, but was pulled out by a cold, stiff hand and fell heavily to the ground, splattering blood. Oh, I'll let you die. That's what you'll get. The voice echoed in her ears.